The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Good morning, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, here live from Oxnard, California at 8 a.m. You gotta love it. Welcome in. We got Aisha Morrison, Christy Scales, Brianna Aldridge, and Nicole Hutchison. I am your host. Ladies, what's poppin'? It is early, but I love it.
Good morning.
Wow. I need a little bit more from that.
Good morning. This is the most fun week of camp. We've got the preseason game coming up on Saturday. We got the joint practice tomorrow. So it's been a very entertaining camp through the first couple of weeks. It really has with the practice, at least compared to years of camp before it. But I'm excited. This is when we're really going to see more. I think we're going to combine, especially tomorrow with the joint practice. That's always the highlight because that's the time that you get to see the starters.
Christy, you said the perfect word. It has been entertaining. It will continue to be entertaining. But specifically over the last week, we hadn't got a chance to talk about it. But Micah Parsons issuing a statement via X and just kind of putting a lot of things out there and saying that, you know, he overall wanted his contract to get done early. Jerry Jones, us hearing from him after practice, what was that, on Friday? Friday, yeah. My days are running all together. But just saying that, you know, he's not looking to have emotion get the best of him with this decision, but hopefully the negotiations continue and a lot of other things he issued. But just what do you guys make of that, of the news? You know, both Micah Parsons saying his piece and Jerry Jones kind of answering to that as well. Okay.
Start this one off.
What'd you say?
Absolutely. First, can we just mention that it was this man wrote it out in his iPhone notes? I thought that was what stood out.
But you're going to jail.
That was
locked up.
Everything in my notes, I'm like, this is when I got stuff to really get off my chest. So that's been sitting there. I feel like that's been sitting there for a little bit, right? And something tells me he had a little bit of help writing that as well. He does have one of the best agents in the league as well. But I'm not super surprised on it. There has been some things that have been said in the media. It's even how he wrote it, that Jerry had stated to the media. I don't think he took it very lightly. And he wants to play. Like, Micah is itching to get out there. He's not used to being on the sidelines. He is a hard player. He's trying, I think him being here, he was, in my mind, he was hoping that was going to show his leadership that they've been wanting for him. Because CD wasn't here last year. We know that. So I think maybe he thought that was like a little give in the situation. Obviously, Jerry had some comments the following day saying that, you know, he felt like there was an agreement, verbal agreement, not anything written down, obviously. So it's a little weary, if you will, that there's no reports of actual, you know, movement in that situation. But personally, I don't see this. I know there was a trade requested. I don't see this going anywhere to that. I don't see Jerry Jones letting that happen. I think Jerry's comments, he's very calm, poised, if you will, to what's happening. This isn't anything new to this team. Micah Parsons is going to be in a Dallas Cowboys jersey. I don't know if it's going to be week one. I hope so. I think it'll get done before that. I don't see Brian Schottenheimer starting this season without their arguably best player on this team. But yeah, it's entertaining.
So you haven't lost sleep over it?
That's good.
No.
I like that. That was a great transition.
I've been knocked out in the hotel bed. You understand? No, but I guess for me, it's giving one life to live. It's giving General Hospital. It's giving.
Love those shows, by the way.
Giving, you know, them stories or the music plays and it's like this dramatic, like
The little violin.
Yeah, like I don't know. I understand. I think being in this business, this is like going into my fourth year. I'm starting to understand how some of this stuff works. And I will say, having the pleasure of getting to see this defensive line and this edge room and some of the things that, you know, Eberflus is doing with the different shifts and fronts and stuff. I mean, you add a Micah Parsons to this, it is going to be, to me, maybe the strength of your team besides like the wide receiver core, you know, those guys at the top. So really, I want him to get out here as soon as possible, as far as like getting to work with the guys, because so much of what Micah does changes the outlook of what the defense looks like, because the attention that he draws opens up other things. So these guys are, I know Donovan Ezaraku's kind of sitting in as a Micah, guy, but there's nothing that really replicates that. And so I do understand, like, they're going forward without him playing, but I'm also just like, well, I'm ready to see what it's like, and also to the conditioning. I know that he works out here, and he's constantly still working, but there's a level of conditioning that this team is like at right now, and these coaches are really pushing them. I do want him to be ready, for when that stuff happens. But as far as the business side of things, all right, y'all. All right. He's giving those midday stories for me.
Yeah. Well, missing the joint practice is a big deal, and because it's really the only true work that the starters like Dak and CD, Micah are going to get, because they're not going to play in the preseason games. And I think it's frustration and impatience on Micah's part, and trying, I think he really feels like it was going to help accelerate the process of getting the negotiations really going. Yeah. So I understand that, but you don't press the Joneses into doing something that they're not ready. It's a very fine line that you have to walk when you're going to go ahead and do things. And Jerry talks about, for 30 years, over 30 years, been doing stuff like this. But it's different these last several years because of social media and that being a different way in terms of how it's presented to Cowboys Nation and NFL Nation and the public and everything. So it's not quite the same as when Jerry was doing those things back in the 90s from a public perception.
Yeah, I think for me nobody's in these rooms, right, when they had these conversations, whether it was, Micah or his agent or Micah and Jerry or whichever it was. But I think I agree with Christy. It's kind of just the frustrations of, like, I'm trying to get ahead of the game, and kind of help you guys out in terms of cap space and things like that. But I think he is more so just frustrated with that not getting done early. But then there's Jerry, who, he builds these relationships with these players, right? And that's why he feels like having those conversations with the players and not including maybe the agent sometimes can be more beneficial to him. I know there were some other players brought up, but don't need to get into that because the drama's still on Twitter. Don't have time for it.
Please.
But, I mean, I kind of see both sides. But, again, like Aisha mentioned, there's nothing like a Michael Parsons, and you need him on this field to potentially move forward. So, a lot of things to hopefully look forward to with Michael Parsons, hopefully getting a contract done soon. If not, well, the drama continues for Dallas. But but if there is no Michael Parsons for quite some time, what does this team look like without Micah? Aisha, I'll start with you.
I mean, it looks like a defensive line that still can, rotate guys in. And we've seen Dante Fowler have some flashes. I think Marshawn Nealon.
Let's talk about it.
This is a gentleman that came out last year. We got to see him play the run. But this year, I really feel like watching him, he is developing as a pass rusher. That's something that I know he intently wanted to do. Obviously, Coach Whitecott and those guys do a fantastic job. I see a step from him as a pass rusher, which I think is going to help this defense. And then you go to Sam Williams, who we're looking to kind of take a step back, step forward as an edge rusher as well. So it's like, and who else? I mean, Donovan Ezaraku, the way he bends the corner, the natural. And there are some similarities in how he and Micah's first step. I mean, they're not the same, but there are some similarities with how Donovan Ezaraku was able to break down the pass rush, the offensive line. So for me, I just think they're going to be able to rush the passer with Micah. I mean, he's such a important guy that offenses are going to be a lot more stressed if he's out there too.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm just like, and we're seeing Eberflus kind of do some different things, right? Yep. We're seeing some of that double A gap blitz, and so he knows what his players do well. Michael Parsons is one of those guys that attacking that interior is beneficial with him. So I don't know. I think it limits you in a sense. Because his attention is going to help everybody else get one-on-ones, so you can't replicate that to me. So I just think that it's important that they figure out how to get him back out here. I'm tired.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm sick and tired.
No, I agree with it's the stress in the defense, but just the fear amongst the offensive line coaches and the offensive coordinators that
Fear's great to say.
Well, yeah, just game planning, and you talk about like mugging and coming up the A gap. Well, that's different with a safety or a linebacker as opposed to Micah Parsons. And yeah, I think Ezraku has had a really solid camp, and I'm so glad you mentioned Nealon because he is as well. But I don't think you're game planning around those two guys, right?
No,
the way that you are with Micah. So yeah, it's just kind of it's just a different level.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
it is.
his level of play, and I think you hit it right on the nose. I mean, I'm the opposing team. I'm gonna love Micah Parsons is not, you know. I don't have to deal with him. I've heard a lot of things about Ezraku as well, and nothing about how he's just the pass rush. That's something he's just naturally. He is a pass rusher. But I also think that Micah, in a sense, and we heard a lot last year how Zimmer was using him, he's really like two players. So coming from Chicago, Eberflus is known for really taking advantage and throwing as many linebackers in the situations as he can and getting them involved. And Micah essentially can be disguised as a linebacker. So not having him out there, like you guys both said, changes the whole dynamic of what this team is kind of do. And imagine Eberflus so excited to have these pieces, and now he's kind of like Brian Schottenheimer working with one hand behind his back. Because even though we know Micah Parsons is going to return and be who he is, at the end of the day, it is a distraction. And now I got to get these guys who are not the mindset and can just jump in like a Micah Parsons to get adapted when he does come back in and trying all these different things. And that's the part that I think is just sucks for this team.
Yes.
This new team that you just ripped this coaching staff, gutted it out, and you're asking them to do all these things with not the pieces that they're going to have.
Yeah, I do. I like that's like you said. I think that's the biggest thing for me is how much he's gonna change what your fronts look like, how those guys line up, how like he's gonna change so much of that. So they're not getting that rhythm, that communication the same way because of the versatility. And I've really been impressed by Eberflus and just, you know, we've been talking about this defensive line and not knowing where the run defense was going to look and all that stuff. We talked about Marshawn Nealon, Iziraku also too. Like these guys are showing like they didn't give up that much on the ground on Saturday. Like I felt like they really forced the offense to throw outside the numbers or run outside the tackles. And for me, that's indicative of like them funneling guys, like them running all hats to the ball. Like I talked about the conditioning, like Micah is Micah, but the time that they're getting out here is so valuable. And I just hate that, you know, they're going to have to work off of him and pick up on some stuff that they otherwise wouldn't be able to replicate in practice. So,
a little deja vu because we said the same. I feel like we had the same conversation last year
about CeeDee Lamb.
We know what CeeDee Lamb can do. It's not that he's going to have any drop off when he comes back. He's working out on his own. But they were. I say this every time because I remember Dax standing there, October, talking about like, things were slow because, you know, and it was October, guys. So, like, it takes time. It doesn't matter how elite this player is. It impacts everything around it. And I just hate that this defense that it feels like
it can be good.
They got a little juice.
It can be.
They got a little juice. This defense got a little juice. Like, people can say what they want to say. I know people are really excited about the offense, but defensively, man, there's a lot of stuff to be looking forward to. Obviously, we talk about the takeaways, but it's how they're doing the takeaways. It's the disguising. It's and I got to catch up with some of the secondary players, and they are enjoying the coaching that they are getting and the opportunities that they're going to have to, you know, to show up in games because of some of the stuff they're doing. They're tripping up the quarterback. We think that this quarterback is one of the best processors in the NFL, and there's been times where he thinks he's seeing something, and it's like, no, that's not it. And if they're doing that here, then you're hoping that can be something that translates. There's pieces on this defense and stuff that I'm excited about. Hopefully getting him back will take them to like the level. You know what I'm saying? They might.
You're stupid.
A little bit.
You are stupid. No, but you talk about the takeaways. I mean, it starts with this defensive line that they have on the field so far, kind of helping create some chaos with Eberflus doing a little different things with those fronts, like you mentioned. Obviously, last year was more 4-3 base, but you're seeing him do 3 guys on the line, kind of add 5, doing a little different things. What have y'all liked from Eberflus schematically that y'all have seen?
Well, they tripped him up sometimes, almost like a zone blitz where you're dropping him off the line and into the zone, and a couple of easy picks for guys. So hadn't seen that I have not seen it as much over the last several years as we've seen it just in the first couple of weeks of training camp practices.
Some of the blitzes, you know, obviously Flus is a guy that people kind of told as the gentleman that's just going to always, rush forward. Nah, you want to get to the house with 4. But he is creative. We've seen a nickel blitz. We got to see Deron Bland come through on a nickel blitz. Seen some safety blitzes. We've seen some, obviously, the linebackers. Maris Leofow, someone I think is going to be heavily involved in how they do those things. I'm also enjoying the different combinations he's using with the safeties and also with the linebackers. We got to see them line up in some dime. I got to see Damone Clark next to Marquise Bell. And Marquise Bell is a gentleman that I spoke to him the other day. I do believe we're going to see him emerge again in this defense as someone that, hey, man, they might go into that dime if you're going up against a Kelsey or if you're going up against a Kittle. This is a guy that has shown that he can defend tight ends at a high level in space, and I think that you're going to need him. So kind of just seeing him mix and match Shamar James, Shamar James with a Maris Leofow or a Shamar James with a Sanborn. Just that mixture of guys, and he's kind of just, they're just trying different things out, but Shamar James is a guy that I thought on tape could come from depth, and he's not a 40 fast guy, but he is an on-field fast guy. Schottenheimer talked about his instincts and how fast he can get there. I like some of the different pieces that he's kind of moving in and out and seeing which combinations go well from the linebacker position. And like you said, Bree, like you said, Nicole, trying to figure out how to get more linebackers on the field in different ways because he knows that's necessary. So I'm enjoying that. Talk to some of the guys in the secondary. They're really enjoying. Obviously, cover 2 is something that we're seeing an influx of in the NFL now, like everyone's doing it. You can obviously, the Dallas defense no different than most defenses that are going to see a George Pickens and CD and have to get in a too-high shell. But they're kind of mixing some stuff up on the back end. Sometimes these safeties are waiting to the last minute to kind of show what they're doing, whether they're going to come to the middle of the field or if they're going to drop in the back and kind of support one side more than the other or whatever. And we saw it. It's tripped up the quarterback. Some of these linebackers have been showing and going, and that's tripped up the quarterback. So from my understanding from talking to the guys, they're enjoying some of the multiplicity that Shotty talks about on the defensive back end as well. It's going to be a lot going on, for both sides, and they're trying to also figure out how to counter the motions. Yeah. Because CD said there's motions on every play. So for this Dallas defense, that's new.
That's great practice because they haven't been getting that in practice as much.
They're getting a look-see at some of the stuff that they struggled with other teams, which I think is going to prepare them a little bit more for some of these higher-level offenses that do a lot of stuff. So I'm not going to get too long-winded. I'm ecstatic about I'm hype about a lot of what's going on.
We just have to kind of temper the enthusiasm a little bit in terms of the preseason games. I just wish that everyone could watch practice the same way because you're not going to see a lot of these disguises and you're not necessarily going to see Keemon Hall blitzing from the slot straight up in preseason. So it's I don't know what Aisha's talking about. That looked pretty plain vanilla to me. Because you ain't going to see it in preseason.
You
That's what I'm saying in the games.
You ain't going to see it, but hopefully at Rams practice we can see a little something.
That's the best part.
That's why you're watching this, so that we can tell you what's going on at practice.
There you go.
What you ladies got?
So,
what you got?
Well, obviously this is my first day of actually being out
Come
here
on.
watching, so I'm excited because I'm watching your notes, and obviously all the great writers here on the beat as well. But I think the thing that's been catching my attention and what I've seen kind of across the board has been impressive, especially with the defense. I know we're talking about takeaways. It's just the tempo of how they're doing everything, purposely having linebackers one carry the ball and purposely punching out the ball. I know Eberflus has been I want to see it. That part is exciting as well. But I just think that I'm interested to see how different Eberflus takes from what he did in Chicago. Obviously 4-3 linebackers heavy, zone heavy, and how they can do that, because I think mostly of what Micah was saying last year, why they were struggling so much, especially the first half of the season. We know Zimmer was coming in. He was going to do a lot, mixing stuff up and disguises and whatever, and it wasn't meshing. And I just remember Micah, and I think even Eric Kendricks was talking about the person is not trusting the person next to them to do their job. And I think when you're talking about the zone coverages, you're talking about the linebackers being able to come in and help stop the run. You have to be able, one, to know your assignment, but also trust who you have next to you. And that's just not what we were seeing in the first half of the season last year. So
looks like so far they're trusting their guys to do their jobs.
They're having fun. I mean, when you're having fun, it changes the game. And I don't remember this locker room being like this, even in the beginning of the season when he is like refresh and new. I just don't remember it being like this at this point. So it's only week 2, but still, it's
Eberflus is a
different vibe.
Where he goes, his teams are typically top 10 in turnovers. This is something he teaches, very similar to the Dan Quinn's time here, is that they would emphasize, taking the ball away in different ways. And what we're seeing from here is a lot of ripping at the ball. They do not give up on plays.
Nope.
Like, even I think, what was that, maybe the first or second day where Deron Bland caught George Pickens slipping. Like, George thought he was mosey on down. And Deron was like, oh, thank you, fella. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't give up on plays, but we're seeing a lot of ripping at the ball. The peanut punch, Shotty broke down to us in the presser, I think, last week about, breaking and busting the triangle and, like, making sure they put their hands through the receiver's hands. And I think they know they're practicing turnovers because they know this pass rush is going to get after it if they stop the run efficiently. So I think that, and I think they also believe what this offense can be. So this offense capitalizing on these turnovers is going to be important, in the season. I'm hoping they get some short fields, girl. I'm hoping they ain't got to drive the length of the field no more. So, I think also, too, I spoke to Osa, too. You ladies have been mentioning the 4-3. At one point, I thought it was a 3-4. I was like, hey, it's some people standing up. The edges are standing up and stuff. What's going on here? But it looks like they're doing kind of like a 5-down thing. And what that means is that it's kind of where you shift the alignments and you're trying to find favorable matchups across the offensive line so guys can have one-on-ones, because they understand, again, you get a Micah Parsons back, you have an Oso Digizua, you have some of these guys, like, teams are going to have to decide what it is they want to live and die by, and you might just die anyway. Stop. But they want to try to figure out who it is that they are going to let run free and stuff. I believe this defensive line is going to put people in some stressful situations. Some of the stuff that they're doing, too, like dropping some of the edges in coverage. Have you seen that, Christy?
Yeah, that's like a zone blitzing kind of thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So the quarterback is not expecting, he's expecting an edge rusher or an end to be pass rushing. And so when if he's looking to the right, if he comes off to the left, he's not expecting that person to be dropped back in the zone. So, and then throws it right to him. So we've seen 2 interceptions that way so far.
Yeah, it's tripped up Dak. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are some of the different little wrinkles that he's doing that he already did, but I do think that he sees the strengths of what this defensive room is and kind of how to utilize them. Otherwise, we wouldn't see guys like Kyer Elam and these guys kind of emerging. Like, clearly, he's playing to what they're doing well right now.
Well, everything starts in the trenches. We've talked defense. How about this offensive line and things Clayton Adams and Connor Riley have these guys doing? That's going to be up next here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
How does the cheerleaders' hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Cowboys Nation 2025 Dallas Cowboys Training Camp presented by American Airlines is here. So head to sunny Oxnard, California now through August 13th to watch the team practice as they get ready for the season. Admission is free. For more information, visit dallascowboys.com/training camp. See you here in Oxnard.
Yeah, it is sunny out here. Feels great. Feels great.
It is.
So
it's chilly down by the beach, Don't just bring a tank top and shorts and flip-flops because you're going to freeze.
Oh, yeah.
So just have a
Good
little
point.
thing to throw on, right? Because at the beach, you'll just be like,
Need a coat all the
we
time.
warned you.
That part. Mm-hmm. All right, ladies, we talked defensive line. Let's talk offensive line and things that I know. Aisha loves this part. From what you've seen so far, how would you describe the identity Clayton Adams and Connor Riley are trying to build with this run game so far? I'm going to go with you, Aisha.
Yep. The identity we're a unit. Like, I know that sounds crazy. Like, obviously, offensive line is already, like, we know it's a unit, but, like, the way that these guys work together on these combo and duo blocks, the communication, I got to see, shout out to the gentleman from the 105.3 The Fan here in the interview with Cooper Beebe. He's saying how confident he is now in his checks and declarations and stuff. Like, there's maturity in this room. And I really do think also something that me and Christy were talking about on the sideline is I think some of the veterans that they have brought in are good tone-setting veterans. You talk about a Sadiq Charles and like some of these guys. I really feel like the additions to the room have been beneficial for some of the younger guys. But there's just intention behind the way that they want to coach these players. I was down on the other side of the field the other day, and you just see them working duo combo blocks, get into releasing, get into the tight end. That's what they're doing. They're doing, some drills where they're having the tackles pull or they're down blocking, and then the guards are having to swing around and stuff. They're working stuff that they are going to practically do on the field, and you see it because the rhythm and the timing is good. I think that they're also working. The offensive line is working in tandem well with these tight ends.
Yes.
That's something that's really important because this offensive line is being asked to do stuff that they maybe weren't doing last year with some of the shifts and, them trying to get information because the motions are important because you got to think about penalties. You got to think about guys being on their snap counts. So I would say that I think that they are building a unit that is multiple, and the depth in that room, I believe also, too, is showing up because Hoffman steps up and in Tyler Smith's, spot, and you're not like, it's Tyler Smith. Like, let's keep it 1,000.
Yeah.
But you're not like freaked out about the output because it's like a machine.
Yep.
And so I do think there's a little bit more cohesiveness this time of the year, despite the guys some guys going out and having some injuries. The way they've been able to plug and play some guys, and then not Nate Thomas coming in, stepping in, and being comfortable. To me, that's a testament to the coaching, but also that the unit is growing together. So I was looking at one-on-ones and I was like, look at that. TJ Bass is a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's depth players that you like, what? I see you growing, big dog. I see you. So I think there's some growth and maturity in this room, man.
Yeah, it is a nice mix of, you have the youth with Booker and Cornelius and the like, but to your point, bringing in the Sadiq Charles and Adeniji, right?
Adeniji,
who's a Garland's guy.
And
Rob Jones was really... that's a very unfortunate injury because not just for him personally, a broken bone in your neck, but for what he could be depth-wise, and he can still, meetings and mentor and the like. But Lyle Collins, who we all remember, first joined the Cowboys in 2015, but and we've known each other. We bonded over Bruno Mars concert, just as Aisha and I bonding over Bruno Mars. But happened to be walking in. We're walking through the parking lot at the same time here at the complex, and he's got when he's here for the workout before he got signed on Friday, and he literally has his cleats slung around his shoulder and neck. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so the workout must have gone well. And he's like, well, I'm actually going to it right now. And he was talking about what a good place that he's in, and he said part of the conversation was, I really feel like I can add a lot here. Wow. And I'm like, do you mean not just on the field, but as a mentor and veteran presence? He's like, yeah, but also just making sure the young guys know the standard that had been set in place and was here for so long.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that's, with the Zach Martin's gone and the like. So Lyle, I just thought it was a very mature kind of thing because he was thinking about it from the group out, as a unit, and not just me individually. Yeah. And I've always really liked Lyle. Great guy. Don't know. See, it's going to be a fight for the spot on this team because there is more depth and the like. But I really enjoy that. And the one thing about as a unit and the pre-snap penalties is. They were really high last year, and we know that the Cowboys really struggled with that, but that is going to be one of the key priorities of the officiating crew across the NFL is the pre-snap penalties. Last year, the Cowboys committed 29 false starts for the season. The league average was 22. So if it seemed like the Cowboys had a lot, they did. I have a bunch of, 6 illegal formations. The league average was 4. So that is... it's obviously a priority for this unit to clean that up, but it's going to be something that the league overall is really focused on, and so
I don't think the sign could handle how many
there we go.
that
I didn't like it.
I didn't like the number.
Y'all, I got PTSD.
A little bit.
They poltergeist.
There's
a poltergeist back there.
But I'm glad you said that about Collins because I was sitting down with dinner with guys who've been covering this team for over 20 years, and they were talking about you're gonna like him once you meet him and what he brings. And I mean, this is a team that was known for their offensive line for so long, right? And then obviously Zach Martin was kind of the end of the era, the last, to leave, and Tyler Smith became automatically that guy everyone's looking to for that leadership role. And to think he's the veteran on the line is kind of crazy because he's still a baby nugget himself. Nugget is like what you like to call it. But I think it's crazy to look at where this offensive line was this time last year and where it is now. It's like crazy to say out loud, even with the CD and the Pickens and you guys got Holden and Mingo stepping up, and we know what they're going to be in the pass game. But to think that this team is going to be a run-first offense, or the ability to be a run-first offense because of if this O-line lives up to what we all think that it's shaping to be, is kind of amazing. And you guys spoke about the injuries. I mean, Aisha said it right. There's been no drop-off. Like, I haven't seen what I was seeing last year about, like, questions about when a certain person steps into another role, like, okay, they're kind of like, it becomes a liability. Like, no one's really...
A liability.
That's the biggest one. Like obviously, like you said, there's only one Tyler Smith out there. But even, like, Booker, like, he's living up to what we thought he was when he initially got signed. Like, when he walked into the Star for the first time, he kind of won that room, like, automatically, but he's showing it on the field this early. Like I said, it's first week of August, and we're believing what Booker can do when you're putting him against some starters on the side. They're going back and forth is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's competition, girl.
I'm just, like, that's something to be excited about. Brian Schottenheimer, when he got hired, he brought his vision is starting to form, and people are starting to see it early. I love that. I love what Klayton Adams is all about, and I'm just excited to see what this O-line can do and not be at the bottom of the barrel when we're talking about the running game.
But here's the thing: people's like, oh, well, now you've got Pickens, and they're talking about the commitment to the run game. Well, here's the thing. The play-action pass is predicated on the defense having to respect the run game.
Yeah.
What's a play-action pass? A play-action pass is when the quarterback fakes the handoff, and then it's of course a pass play, but you fake that handoff because it makes the linebackers and even the pass rush just for that half a second. Ooh, did he hand the ball off? Am I going for the running back or am I going for it? So just that much time
Yeah.
makes the difference in the pass play, because the defense is having to hesitate and respect that run game. And frankly, we haven't really had that.
And they play action it up.
Yeah,
they
we
play
saw that with
action.
CD on, was that Saturday?
I wrote it down. I wrote it down.
What the notes say? What the notes say?
I wrote it down. I mean, obviously, you looking at the different personnel groupings. I love the usage of how they're. Kavontae Turpin is going to be. It's the play action fakes to him. It's the play action fakes to Lipke. It's some of the stuff that they are doing. It's tripping up your defense. I wouldn't be surprised if it tripped up some other people. But you mentioned the play action, like the way that they are running the ball. To me, also too, we're going to see these running backs do some receiver-esque things as well. That's one of the biggest difference makers to me, is the usage as the running backs as receivers, because we were kind of hoping for that a little bit more with Tony Pollard, as we saw that become something we thought he was capable of. It's a mismatch nightmare. You can literally, if they're good enough, you can move them across the line and do different stuff. They lining Jadon Blue out wide and having him come back inside. Like, there's different stuff that they're doing that is like, that's what football is about right now. It's trying to find ways to, trip up the other team. And Dak has always been a very efficient quarterback with play action. I'm glad to see it return to this offense. But Christy's right. Like, it is important to have a run game to do it, because you want them people to bite.
Let me ask y'all something. Yeah. Which running back has given y'all the best receiver-esque qualities that y'all have seen?
Kavontae Turpin. I'm just playing.
It's funny. I was going to say the same thing. Blue has stood out more just in terms of the opportunities and
true.
And I know that, Sanders, with the knee, so he didn't practice on Saturday. But I know that Williams and Sanders are new to the Cowboys. But in terms of Blue, just from watching your new shiny toy, let's see how they're going to use it. Let's unwrap this package. So he's certainly drawn more attention, at least from a media aspect. And in my opinion, people are looking to see how they're using him.
Yeah, the pass came on, and the running backs was like, "Hey." You remember us? We're here
so much.
Yeah, the running backs finally got some love, and I think Javonte. I will say I felt like the veterans, Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, early in camp, mini camp, that stuff. I felt like their veteran presence kind of was serving them. But you are starting to see some of these younger guys, like a Phil Maffa, like a Jadon Blue, kind of starts it. You can see the game is kind of slowing down to them in practice and stuff like that. Shotty talked about how they're pick and choosing what they're going to work on, that day. And what they're really working, they attacked the edges last week, I felt like, really well. The tight ends, Schoonmaker, Neville, Ferg, I thought they got out to the outside and opened up some rushing lanes for a Jadon Blue. But one thing I will say, Jadon Blue's more patient than what I think I expected for him to be. And I think that you kind of see that in how he kind of waits, kind of sits on the offensive lineman's hip. And once he sees daylight, he puts his foot in the ground and he goes. I hope that he keeps getting opportunities. He took advantage of Miles Sanders being out and those guys being out, but
and Deuce
as well.
Because Deuce was standing out the first week,
which is huge for Deuce Vaughn. And so Jadon Blue, he's the one that is starting to kind of emerge, and you're seeing that they see that there's value there with the running and catching ability. But I thought he's done some good things in pass pro too.
Absolutely,
thought he's shown that he's not afraid to sacrifice his body there too. So. I mean, because these edges is humming.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about camp is like who you think is going to be, 1-2 punch, and then all of a sudden Jadon Blue is now in the conversation. I mean, even last week when Tyler Guyton went down, it was like, oh, Austin Richards is going to step in there, and now we're talking about Nate Thomas stepping in there. Like, that's the beauty of camp, and I think these guys are, I hate that word, we heard it so much last year, but opportunity, they're taking advantage of the opportunity, right? I've got to cover Javonte Williams his rookie year in Denver, and pass catching that, he was a run hard. He was just he was a smaller guy, but he was able to take advantage, and he's going to get that extra yard or two. That's what he was known for. In OTAs, obviously I haven't been here yet to see what they've been doing here in Oxnard, but Miles Sanders was the one who was catching my attention when we were
in the
back.
beginning. Yeah.
So again, a lot can change in a couple weeks, so I'm excited to see that and see the blue magic that I've been hearing so much about. But I think that's the best part about this running back group, because there's no clear one.
Yep. no drop off.
But it's not as scary, I think, as last year.
Yeah, I'm not as scared. I'm not as nervous.
Yeah,
either.
there's something like these guys have different traits and that kind of can mesh together. And I think when you have the minds of the young coaches, fresh college coaches that they brought in, right, it's gonna be more of the. I'm kind of like. I think I talked about it last season when I was watching the Lions, and I'm like, man, that looks fun. Like, I feel like we're gonna have some fun with some of this.
There's a couple Lion-esque things going on in here. Let's give Hunter Lipke some love real quick one time for the one time. I went up to him when we was leaving practice. I said, Doc, what does your playbook look like? A lot. He might be doing tight end things. He might be doing running back things. He might be doing fullback things. And one thing Christy has taught us is that, when a guy does all these different things, number one, it talks about how smart he is, but also, too, how much he has to be studying, how involved he has to be. So, Hunter Lipke, it's got to see him get some touches. Again, sometimes you kind of forget that this is a running back.
Yeah, he's a running back, not a fullback. He's a fullback, but he's got running back skills.
And you see him kind of get skinny. You see him kind of, slipping in between the tackles. You see them getting him the ball on the move on some of these little simple. And what they're doing is they're lining him up kind of adjacent to the running back. And I think they're going to set that up to either sometimes they'll hand it to him, sometimes they won't, sometimes they'll fake it. But his presence is not the same as Turpin's, but he's going to be motion man. He's going to be, setting up things or trying to balance formations and stuff like that. Hunter Lipke is going to be a very important part of this offense, y'all. Yeah. And I think that he is going to get opportunities to run the ball and to catch the ball and to show off some of that ability that he has and be a blanket, another little blanket for Dak. And I think they're gaining some connection as well. So,
and there are days. I think we want to mention this last week
where
he is spending his meeting. Talked to him last week where he is doing the meeting time with the tight ends. And he also did that last training camp as well. But last season, once we got into the regular season, he would do both meeting rooms. And so some of the days here, he's spending full tight end meeting time, and other days it's running back meeting time.
All right, we got to take our second break here on Girls Talk Boys Talk presented by Invisalign. We'll be right back with whose stock are you buying this week? All right, we're going to take our second break.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Cowboys Nation, the 2025 Dallas Cowboys schedule is officially here, and limited tickets are available now. Get ready to bring the noise as you watch your Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium when they host NFC East rivals Eagles, Giants, and Commanders, plus the Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, and Cardinals. Visit DallasCowboys.com/tickets or SeatGeek.com, the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, real fast, ladies. We got a minute left on the show. Whose stock are y'all buying this week?
My first.
I'm going to go Christy first.
I'm going to say Keemon Hall, the cornerback, because he's been playing in the slot. And if he can play, there's so many injuries at cornerback that if you feel more confident with him in the slot, then you can leave Deron Bland outside.
Rams do a lot in the slot. Praise Saints. I'm going to buy Nate Thomas stock. You got the practice. We have the joint practice this week. Jared Verse is coming in town. That Rams edge rush is something that's nothing to snuff at. How he handles that, it's going to tell us a lot about, what we want moving forward with him.
Okay. I'm buying into Trayshawn Holden. I want to see what I've been seeing. He had the play of the day last time we were out here. Like you said, we got some competition to see how he does. I know it's what he's been able to do has been a lot with it too. So when you get some competition on the other side, let's see what Trayshawn Holden is all about. Does it live up?
I changed mine. I'm going to go Troy Pride, and I'm saying that because he has been very active in that cornerback room. He had a couple of PBUs. I asked Brian Schottenheimer about him as well, and he said that he's having a very, very, very good camp as well. So I'm looking to see a little bit more out of Troy Pride, give this cornerback room some competition, and continue to give some competition. All right, ladies, this has been a great show. Glad to have everybody back here in Oxnard, California. It's lovely. For Aisha Morrison, Chrissy Scales, Brianna Aldridge, I'm Nicole Hutchison. We'll be back here on Wednesday.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!